How are ya? Y'all want to cook? Let's cook. We're gonna make creamy chimichurri steak, and you're gonna see my little one up here. No, y'all need to get down. Just y'all need to get down. Let me get them some milk. I'll be right back. Lord have mercy. All right, so basically this comes with a side of roasted butternut squash, and then it's got kind of a slaw thing, I reckon, you're going to put to it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut up the butternut squash into little chunks. We're going to put a little olive oil on it, and we're going to put some of the Mexican spice on it. We're going to roast it for about 18 to 20 minutes in a 450 degree oven. So, and then as soon as I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and start with the other prep, which will basically be slicing all of the vegetables. This is actually not going to be a dice, it's going to be a slice for the shallot. This will be a slice, this will be a slice, so that we have those ready once the vegetables are done cooking. So let's go on down. Alrighty, there you go. Let's get a knife out. Whoop. It says to use a peeler. Yeah, that works okay. Okay, I don't like that.
You open the box or something?
No, that's the way it looked when it came in.
Well, there was a big envelope.
Yeah.
This
This is the box, yeah. Yes. Although it doesn't look like they took very much care with that. You guys need to be careful when you're peeling butternut squash. This stuff is really hard to peel. If you can use a vegetable peeler, go ahead. I can't stand it. Not for something that's hard. But you need to be careful if you're going to use a knife, because this is really stiff. Okay? We don't need to be cutting off anybody's fingers. Thought I'd be able to get it in line, but apparently I can't. Unfortunately, you're going to hear stuff in the background. Probably. Because the prince is watching TV and doesn't care that I'm trying to film.
Exactly.
He could care less.
I couldn't care.
All right, so now we've got that all peeled. Now we've got to dice it. I'll be honest with you, that's a big reason why I don't buy butternut squash, is because it is so hard to handle. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but if you're not a foodie and you're not a person that cooks a whole lot, when this came in, it came in with that piece taken out of it. There was a reason for that. So that it's flat when you cut it. Always do that. If you're cutting something round, cut a piece of it to make it flat. So now I can cut this in half before I go and dice it, and you're not trying to cut something that's rolling everywhere, okay?
So you don't lose fingers.
Yeah, well, yeah, we don't want to use fingers. And I'm telling you, this stuff is, it's hard. Butternut squash is very hard. I love to eat it, but that's probably the reason why I don't ever buy it, is because it's so hard to cut and it's so hard to prep. Just getting the skin off of it is a job, which I don't like. That was just a little teeny tiny piece, and we saw how bad that was. Right? I know. Let's see if we can cut that just a little more. See if we can get one more slice out. There we go. That'll work. So how was dinner last night, my love? How would you rank it?
1 to 10.
1 to 10.
Taste-wise, 8, 8.5.
8.5 taste-wise. Okay, that's not bad. So
meal-wise, 4.
you like the way it tasted. Why did you only give it a 4 for as far as the meal goes? Because it was too small?
Vegetable amount, salad was good, was decent. I mean, I prefer a bowl of salad, not a...
But you were okay with the actual salad? Because I was worried about that part.
It tasted fine.
Okay.
And the amount of fish, I needed another piece of fish.
Okay, so the food tasted fine. He had no problem with it. It was just too small of a portion. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think that he would eat the salad. I would have thought that he was like, ew, I don't like it because it was kale. But he did. So, yay. That made me happy. It was tasty, and I forgot the almonds. I didn't put the almonds in it. So, gosh dang it. You need to go drink that milk and leave me alone, child. All right, so we're going to sprinkle some of the seasoning on this. We're going to toss it around a little bit. Don't use all of it because we need this for the steak. Okay? So just cut a little hole in it. Yeah, that'll work. Okay? Mix it around a little bit. There you go. That'll work. Okay? Okay. In the oven it goes. 18 to 20 minutes. We'll give it 20 only because the oven isn't completely heated up at this point. So there you go. All right. Now, the other things that we are going to do, we don't really need to do anything to the cabbage. They want us to toast the pepitas, but we'll do that later. So we are going to cut everything into strips. And you know I'm going to use bowls because I like to have something to put my stuff in. You can do what you want. You don't want to make the mess, don't do it. I'm going to use my Covenant Cool Whip bowls because, you know, it's what I do. So it says just to cut these in strips. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to cut the strips in half just because I don't like that long of a strip of bell pepper. If you like long strips of bell pepper, go ahead. I know better to stick my finger there. And I stuck it there anyway. Because on one of those cooking shows, they would have put a red marker up the top of my finger. I know better. All right, so there's the peppers. We'll do the mushrooms next, and we'll do the shallots last because the shallots might make me cry. These are cremini mushrooms. Don't wash your mushrooms, people. If you have to clean them off, do it with a paper towel. Why don't you wash a mushroom? Because they soak up everything, and you'll end up with really kind of mushy, weird, textured mushrooms, which I don't personally like. So I just use a paper towel, and I wipe off all the fertilizer. Just like that. Then I'm going to clean my board because there's fertilizer on my board. Okay. We're going to cut up the mushrooms, just slice and slice. I don't mind the stems, so I'm going to leave them on there. All right, on to the shallot. All right, and this one, it just says to slice it long way. So we're gonna. All right, we're gonna open up our steak and we're gonna put the rest of the seasoning on the steak so that it can sit and marinate. Get out of there. All right, there are our 2 pieces of steak. Get out of here. Come on. I rinse these bags out before I throw them away so that they don't stink up the garbage. Just a pro tip from me to you. All right, and then we're just gonna cover the outsides of the steak. There we go. Okay. All good. All right, we're gonna sit around and we're gonna wait for a little bit because I don't need to do the rest of the stuff until we get closer to time. So we'll be back directly. All right, we're back. We're gonna get the squash out of the oven. Looks pretty good. Yum. We're gonna set that over to the side. We're going to come down here. Go. Okay. We're going to heat up our pan, toast our pepitos. Then we're going to cook our vegetables. And the last thing we're going to do is cook the steak. Now this is a dry pan, so there's nothing in here. No oil, no nothing. No nothing. Nothing. This is cast iron, so it'll take a minute to heat up. But you'll smell it. We're just going to toast them a little bit. Why? Because they said for you to do it. Mostly because it brings out the oils and the flavors. You know, all the things. As soon as that's done, we're going to take those out. We'll put a little bit of oil in there. And then we're going to add our vegetables and we're going to begin to saute those. The easy peasy stuff. Yep. Destem. Yep. We'll cook our vegetables for about 7 to 9 minutes. Salt and pepper is all they asked to do. Once that's done, then we'll cook the steaks off pretty quickly. We're going to cut them against the grain. I'm assuming this is more like a flank steak type thing because it said to cut it against the grain, which basically means against it you can see the grains in the meat. You want to cut the opposite direction, and you want to do that so that the steak isn't tough. Because if you cut it with the grain, the steak will be tough. That's why they tell you to do that. It's an easy way to get a good meal out of a cheap piece of meat. And usually those cheaper pieces of meat have a lot of flavor in them too. So It isn't they're just trying to be cheap. They are a tasty bit of meat. You just got to know how to eat them. Like skirt steak, flank steak, same thing. Well, the same thing. We'll go ahead and we're going to try one of those butternut squash because that just looks good. I love butternut squash. So good. Okay. These will go on as a garnish as soon as they're all done. Don't walk away from this, because if you do, you might end up with burnt nuts, and nobody likes burnt nuts. Really just kind of toast them, get them warm, that kind of thing. Brings out the natural oils, all that fun kind of thing. Got our vegetables ready. Okay, that's probably good enough. It just takes a couple of minutes. I can smell them, so we're probably pretty good. We're going to add a little bit of oil. That's good and hot. And we're just going to add all of our vegetables. Here we go. All right, we'll come back when these cook just a little bit. This looks about done. So we're going to go ahead and move all this over to here. Okay. Put a little bit more oil in there. You're going to cook your steaks to whatever temperature you like yours. We like ours mooing around these parts. So we're only going to do a couple of minutes on each side. Now, if you can see this, I know it's kind of hard to tell. Let me see when I turn this over. You might be able to see. But the grain is running this way, which means we need to cut it that way, if that makes sense. This one, the grain is running this way, so we're going to cut it that way. Okay, that's what against the grain means. Okay, I'm going to turn that over. This one you can see pretty well. Let me kind of pick this up here because y'all can see that. You see those lines? That's the grain, people. So don't cut it with it, cut it against it. That's what they mean. Okay? If you cut it with it, which is this way, it'll be really tough to eat. So we're gonna cut it that way. Now, move that oil back a little bit. I'm gonna turn this off because we're not gonna cook it much more. Move that around a little bit. This out here, I'm going to put you all on pause for a second. We're going to go over here to the other side because I'm going to let this steak rest for just a minute before I cut it, but we're going to plate it over here. So hang. Alrighty, and there you have it. So let's come on up here. Since we didn't try ours on camera the last time, I'll try mine on camera this time. We're going to give that one to the prince and this one to me because, you know, it looked right. All right. So we'll get a little bit of the steak. Nice and tender. Get a little bit of the vegetables. This is a good one. I mean, it's steak and vegetables. But I like the seasonings on them. They're good. And I like the butternut squash. It's pretty delicious. I'm going to call this one a success. I'll let you know what the prince says when we go to cook the next one tomorrow. I don't know what it's going to be. I haven't picked it yet. But there you go. Dinner 2 from Green Chef. This was steak with the creamy chimichurri, roasted vegetables. It was delicious. You guys know the rules. You stay out of trouble now, but if you can't, don't get caught. Till then, y'all stay safe, stay clean, and have a perfect day. Love you, bye.